Hey guys, this is the Cool Square. I'm here to record a quick tutorial about the Autosplitter for Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So first of all, this requires live split, so if you do not have live split, you have to set that up. There are other tutorials for that. Once you have live split, and you're ready to make your splits for this game, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you enter the game name. So you can type the whole thing out. The easiest way I find is just type the word Rehydrated and then click the only, well, currently the only option in the drop down, but you should see it pop up. Click that, and then you'll see this pop up where it says configurable auto splitting is available. You're going to want to, this normally say activate, you're going to want to click activate. And then this will download the auto splitter component and it's now active. So what you're going to want to do now is create your splits for your run. I'll just pretend like we're just doing a quick little any % unrestricted thing. So maybe I have something for the warp to boss, and then I have a phase 1 split and a phase 2 split. And once you have your splits the way you want them, you're going to want to click on the settings button right here. And this will open up another form for the settings for the auto splitter. So the main things to pay attention here is we have an auto reset preference, but by default this is set to new game, which means anytime you create a new game or anytime you start a new game, if the timer is currently active, it'll reset. You can also make it reset whenever you go to the main menu if you prefer to do that, or you can turn it off completely. Besides that, we have below this, you'll see all of the splits that you've created, and by default everything's going to be set to manual. So this first drop down box here you see is called the split type, and you have several options, and some of them, when you click them, you'll get another box. So real quick, I'll just talk about these. Most of these are self-explanatory, but manual, that if you set it to manual, that's a manual split. You will have to split manually to continue. Pretty simple. The other ones, we have game end. This splits whenever you beat the game. Load screen will split on whenever any loading screen appears. This includes whenever you die, or in most levels whenever you get grabbed by the hand. Not all levels cause loading screens on that though. Whenever the screen goes black and you see the little loading thing in the corner, it's an actual loaded screen, then it'll split. Level transition is like load screen, but a little bit more intelligent. Basically, you can select which specific level you want the loading screen to be for, and this will ignore deaths basically. So what happens is it has to be a transition, meaning you're going from a level that is not the level you've selected here to this level. So for instance, if you set it to downtown streets, whenever you enter downtown Bikini Bottom, you'd split here. For unrestricted, we'd want this to be set to the Chum Bucket lab. For me anyway, if you want to split on warp. Then you also have a spat count, which you can put a number here, and whenever you reach that many spatulas, it'll trigger a split. And there's also a spat grab, which is like spat count, but it doesn't care about your actual total number. It will just trigger whenever the spatula count increases. So now that I've gone over all the options, you should basically know what configuration options are available to you. So we'll choose level transition, Chum Bucket lab for this first one. Then phase 1 is there's a couple of ways to do this. It depends on what you want to do. I prefer to have my splits on level transitions, so I would set this to Chum Bucket brain, but you could also have it set on spat grab, because you get a spatula when you finish the first phase, or you could have it spat count 1. There's a lot of options, just depending on your preferences. and the situation. So I'll continue to have this on Chum Bucket Brain. And then phase 2, this one's pretty important. You're going to want this to be game end. Since this is the final split, you want to split when the game ends. The way this is set up is game end triggers whenever you are awarded a spatula inside of the Chum Bucket Brain. So functionally, this is equivalent, spat count 2, but I still recommend using game end because it pays attention to the level that you're in and it doesn't actually care about the spatula count. So if you happen to have an extra spatula for some reason like that, this will still work. The reason why this is not hard-coded to game end and still configurable is to support like potential extension categories that might not actually end time upon beating the final boss. You want to be able to change that for those categories, so this has to be configurable. Other important things to know about the features here is you can type directly in to these boxes, including the level transition, which is pretty useful because, say I want to go to Goo Lagoon Beach, there it is, and you have auto completion available there. And the other thing is, let's say your stuff's out of order. This often happens whenever you add new splits to your layout. So for whatever reason, we just added a new split here. You can actually click and drag on the title to reorder these drop boxes. So that'll usually cover whatever you need to do. And I'll just show a quick example of it starting. So once you have this set up and it's activated, it should be good to go. All you have to do is start a new game. And you'll notice it doesn't start right away, but it starts right there at the end of the first loading screen, because that's when it is detected that the game has started, and the proper offset is applied to make the timing equivalent to starting the timer on confirming the file. That's about it. That's pretty much all you need to know. If there's any other questions about the Autosplitter, or if there's any bugs or anything like that, make sure to join the Battle for Bikini Bottom official Discord server, and there's channels there for getting help and reporting issues that you may come across. Other than that, have fun.